Well, MJ had thoughts on going to Boise later this week.
I'm excited. I think our team is excited. Considering this is a big opportunity for us, we on the verge of being ranked as well. So I think it's going to be a big one for us. Based off the game last night, we know that they're going to come with a bunch of energy. So we just got to be ready and punch them in the mouth first.
How much do you pay attention to things like that? I mean, they've had a couple of tough losses now, a home loss, a tough triple overtime loss. Do you guys pay much attention to that?
Yes, I feel like you have to. Like Coach said yesterday, being in this league, you have to know the league, know the players in the league, know everybody's strengths, their weaknesses. So as a good team, as good players, you have to pretty much study your next opponent. And they're up next, so we got to be dialed in on what we need to do and things that they haven't done or things that they have done. So we just all got to be locked in and on the same page so that we can take care of business on Saturday.
What have you guys as players tried to do to try and maintain kind of a consistently good approach? Because you've had games where you were locked in and you blew the other team out. Some games a little closer. And coaches talked about your practice habits. What have you guys done to try and maintain some consistency with some of these recent performances?
I would just say just staying confident in each other. Just buying into the system. Of course, it's showing in practice, having good practice habits like Coach just said, and then it carries over into the game. Studying the film, those little things is what's going to carry this team. We are very talented, as you've seen, but talent can only take you so far. So just being consistent on the little things, like, of course, like I said, practice habits, studying the film, and just continuing to connect as a team and hanging out with each other more often. It's just what we've kind of been horned in on.
So Boise State offensively has kind of had some struggles with their guard play and getting consistent production. Just from a defensive standpoint, what is kind of the mindset going into trying to continue to limit that?
Pressure them, of course, and make them take tough shots. We know number 4, I think that's his number. He likes to shoot a lot of contested mid-range. We'll live with those. The twos won't really beat us. We have to. Their problem is coming into the post, so we got to be dialed in. We all have to be on the court when we go to do whatever the game plan is, and kind of make it tough for the bigs, and just contest the threes. But I feel like we can get a lot of back attacks, a lot of gap rakes in on them, and get out in transition. If we play in transition, I think we'll beat them pretty bad. But we just got to continue to play our game and don't get into what they like to do. Just focus on our strengths and let our strengths be our strengths.
You talk about their offense, but like their defense is one of the best in the conference, on par with what you guys have been doing. Just what do you see from their defense and things you hope to be able to attack with their defense? Not to give away your game plan.
Yeah, I'm not gonna give away the game plan, but just know we put in a lot of stuff yesterday. Coach is a very offensive-minded coach, and he studies the game. We texted last night as we were watching the game, so we'll be ready to attack their defense pretty good.
You being a new guy here, MJ, do you get the feeling of this is a big game for Utah State fans and for players, this rivalry with Boise State?
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I know I texted the guys when they were playing San Diego State. And, I'm like, who do we hate more, San Diego State or Boise? They said San Diego State, but I know realistically we hate everybody pretty much the same when it comes to Colorado State, San Diego State, Boise State. So we're going to have that mindset to go kill. And I believe coming back on the road Saturday, everybody will be happy with the outcome.
Coming along with that, mentioned Colorado State, you obviously had a great game. Kind of blew them out. How do you kind of channel that kind of mindset and preparation into a game like this that's now on the road, but against a similar type of opponent?
Just kind of come out with the same intensity that we had against Colorado State. Of course, it was at home, and we had the home crowd to back us up. I'm not sure if we'll have as many fans. I don't know if they'll travel. But we just got to bring our own energy. Again, it's a road game. It's going to be tough. We might not get any calls, but if the ball going in the basket and we getting stops, then we don't really need any calls. So just being locked in today and tomorrow on our scout, our prep, and just being able to pop on Saturday at 7 o'clock, that'll tell us everything we need to know. The first 4 minutes, we should have a good feel on, what kind of game it's going to be from us and what kind of game it's going to be from them.
The coaches talked about, when you bring in some of the players, like talking about how sometimes players before didn't have the greatest shooting percentages. I don't know if you reference you directly, but you're someone whose shooting percentages weren't super high, but then you come here and you're one of the most efficient players in the league, and you talk about how confidence plays a big role in that. Is that something you've seen where like you're having the best year of your career? How much has confidence just played a role in that?
Like I said before, before I came here, Coach, when we was on our Zoom call, he said some things that like pretty much stood out to me that no coach had. You really had to take the time to figure out who MJ Collins was or who any other player that he was trying to get were. And, that's what stood out to me, and it let me know that, he really took a deep dive into who I was and my liking. And, once I stepped foot on campus, he just always, the coaches, my teammates always just kept confidence in me. And, when you have people that believe in you, then you're willing to do whatever for those group of people. And, that's just kind of the footsteps that I'm in now, that I know we have people counting on me, not only me, but us. And, I'm just going out there playing my hardest for the guys, for my coaches, my teammates, and then, of course, the name that's on the back of my jersey as well. So, confidence plays a big role in everything. And, I'm thankful that Coach and my teammates have given me that confidence to come out here and, do what I'm able to do. 14
games in, did you think, you have goals, you want to do well. Did you think you'd be where you're at right now, scoring-wise?
To be honest, I do. I've always been a dominant scorer. And, me finding the right system, like I said, with the right group of guys, I'm just in my natural element right now, and I don't really have to do too much. I kind of just let the game come to me, and it's easy when you're playing with a Mason Falsliff and then you have a Drake Allen, Elijah Perriman, as your point guard. So you really just sit there and let them do all the work, and then, you just feast off of it. So I'm thankful for, those guys and everybody that's in the program. Of course, I couldn't do it without them. So, like I said, I'm thankful.
What have we seen from, Elijah Perriman, where, Mason and Drake, they've been around the game for a few years. Elijah's his first year in college and had some impressive moments. What have you seen from him in a position like point guard, which can be pretty complicated?
I'm happy for his growth. I took him under my wing maybe a month or two before the season started. I started picking him up every day, inviting him over to my house, just trying to talk to him, make sure his mind is on straight, ask him if he ever needed anything, he can let me know. Just trying to be that big brother role that I can be to him. This is my 4th year. I've seen a lot of plays, just letting him know, just make the simple plays. Don't turn the ball over. Play defense and you'll play. That's just what Coach is like, especially with Coach Calhoun, as he's an offensive-minded coach. Know the plays, take care of the ball. You're going to be in good shape. That's what he's kind of done. And then seeing him go for a double-double the other night, his confidence got up. I sent him a text message telling him, keep going, but stay even keel. Don't get too high, don't get too low, because, you might have a double-double today and you might not score and had 5 turnovers tomorrow. So it's just the era of college basketball that we're in. So I'm really happy for his progress. I think he's the future of Utah State, if you ask me, and he's only going to get better the more he continues to play.
Earlier in the season, Coach kind of talked about that element of the team kind of lacking, just the leadership from the older guys. Now it seems like, that's starting to click and kind of things are coming together. Just besides you and Elijah in that scenario, just what have you seen from the team overall that has kind of brought you together, for especially the older guys?
I've seen a lot. We've had team meetings. Mason has been more vocal. I've been more vocal. KT. So just people just stepping out of their comfort zone. I know it was a time where everybody was worried about, okay, what if somebody doesn't like what we have to say? But at this point in time, everybody wants the best for each other. So at some point they'll get over it. it's almost one of those situations where we don't always like what coach has to say. I'm just keeping it real. But at the end of the day, we know he wants what's best for us. At the end of the day, we all have a common goal and wanting to win. So, once we put that issue aside and just started, holding each other accountable and not always the coaches having to hold us accountable, that's when we've taken our step. We're on a six game winning streak now, and I feel like it'll only get better as us as players continue to lead our team.